I'm going to be ranking 2023 MLS teams on how they did this season. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, Real Salt Lake, a team that barely made the playoffs in 2022, and now they're a team that is barely going to make the playoffs in 2023, but they are a better side this year, more complete. So for that, I'm going to give them B tier. Next, we have Orlando City. For me, easy A tier. They're a great team. They've done well, and they're second in the Eastern Conference. They went up. What more can you want from a team if you're a fan? Next, we have Nashville SC. For me, that's an easy B tier because they are a solid team. Their defense is absolutely cooking this season. Least goals conceded, I believe. For that, I'm going to give them B tier. Toronto FC, easiest F tier I've ever seen in my life. 2 back-to-back horrible finishes. I don't think they should be an MLS team. I don't think we should allow teams this incomplete and they're struggling so much they shouldn't even be allowed to play in this league. They should be demoted to the USL, if you ask me. Promote Louisville City. I don't know. Now, Charlotte Football Club, for how they've done the season, it's not been great. So for that, I'm going to give them C tier. They have their moments. They're done great recently and great in the beginning of the season. But that mid-season where it's most important, just weren't that great of a team. Now, Austin FC, they've fallen off so much, but I can't rank them behind Toronto because of how bad Toronto are. Austin went from being a top tier West side, making the MLS Western Conference final, to not being that good of a team. So they're going to be an F. CF Montreal were a great team last year, but this year, I don't see them being that good. They've fallen off. For that, I'm going to give them low C tier. Next, we have Vancouver Whitecaps. They're a solid team, had a solid season. They're going in B. Now, the New England Revs turned their season around because last year's season, terrible. Absolutely terrible. But this year, they've managed to make it into 5th. They're going to be in the playoffs. I'm giving it A. Next, we have DC United, a team that might make the playoffs. As of right now, they're making the play-in. So I'm going to give them C tier on the season so far. Next, we have the Portland Timbers. I was worried for a long time that they were going to get put out of the playoffs, but here they are. They managed to find their way into a playoff seed. So for that reason, I'm going to give them C. Minnesota United, I don't know what happened. After being so good last season, but now they're in 11th. They've been a decent team, but they just can't get those wins. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put them in D tier. Now, the San Jose Earthquakes went from being the worst team to a play-in team. It deserves C tier. I can't say much about that. It's going to go above the Timbers, actually. Now, Seattle Sounders, their season, they got heartbreaking loss and knocked out of the playoffs for the first time last year. But this year, they turned it around. It's going to be an A tier. Good performance from them. Now we have Sporting Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City sitting right outside of the play-in seed. They've not had that great of a season. Better than last season, but for that reason, I'm going to give them D tier. Columbus Crew, they've been a really good team. Their attack is absolutely lethal. And for those reasons, I'm going to give them A tier above the Revs and Seattle. Next, we have LAFC, might be second in the West, but with how they played in the mid-season, I'm giving them C tier. I do not care. A team They're so good. Danny Buwanga, Carlos Vela, all these players. And you're still getting thrashed by Houston. So you're going in C tier for how they played this season, even though the result ended up being okay. Next, we have Chicago Fire, team that was really bad last year. That is still pretty bad this year, but not that bad. So I'm going to give them D tier. Atlanta United, a team that's alright. It's good with Thiago Almada. He's getting the job done. For that, I'm giving them top of B tier, right behind Nashville. Red Bull, I'm a fan of Red Bull, so I'm going to give them D tier because I know their season has not been that great. They're not the greatest team, but I'm going to give them top of D tier because it just feels right. Now, Miami, how can a team that signed Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets, Lionel Messi, and oh my goodness, how do you lose with those three signings in your midseason and Joseph Martinez in the earlier part of the year? How are you getting knocked out in your own house to Cincinnati? It's going in low C tier because the signings, I don't know how they made it happen. How did they financially work it out? I don't know. But good signings, horrible performance. So they're going in C tier. But they did win Leagues Cup, so I'll bump them up to B tier. Now, not sure how Sacramento Republic managed to get in here, but they're not here yet. We'll rank them next year. Now, Houston Dynamo. The Houston Dynamo are a team that's alright. They're pretty good. They're good West Side, so they thrashed LAFC in the midseason. Love to see that. But I'm going to give them A tier for how they've done behind the Revs. Bottom of the A tier. They're a good team. FC Dallas, they have so much talent. They're just not using it. And now they're in the play-in season. They're going for the play-ins and hopefully the playoffs. Personally, I think they're going for the playoffs because I think they're going to beat San Jose if San Jose make it into the play-ins. So they're going to go top of D tier. St. Louis City, first year here, S tier. Oh my goodness, what just happened? Okay. Now, St. Louis City, easy S tier. First year here, first win. They could win the playoffs. They are a really good team. The results are all over the place, but with how they play the game, they get so many wins. So many wins and lots of losses, though. They're going to have to work on that because they're giving up too many games. But they're still first year here. They win the Western Conference. Not by a landslide, but they do win it. So for that reason, I'm going to give them S tier. Philadelphia Union. That's an easy middle of A tier because they're, in my opinion, a top 3 MLS side. They just need to play a little bit better because they're a good team and they play well. I just think they can play even better and have even better results. They've played well. They're getting A tier after winning the Eastern Conference last year. I had slightly higher expectations for this year. LA Galaxy, they flopped. Easy F-. Horrible. Not as worse as Toronto. It's not as bad as Toronto, okay? At least they didn't do it twice in a row. Now FC Cincinnati, that's going in S tier because they're clearly the best MLS team. It's not an opinion, it's facts, because other than Orlando, they've beaten every single MLS team or tied all of them at least, and they win the Supporters Shield by a landslide. Not even close. On track to be the second highest point scoring team ever in MLS. They flipped it around. They've shown how good they are. And they have an MVP on their side. FC Cincinnati, easy S tier. Now, on the complete opposite side of things, the Colorado Rapids are going in F-. They have played horrible. They've been eliminated for so long. The only reason why they're ahead of LA Galaxy in F tier is because they weren't that good last year either. So they're going in F-. Now New York City finishing it off in bottom of D tier. They went from being so good to being the definition of, oh, we're playing New York City. That should be a draw or a win. Doesn't matter where you play them. You expect a draw or a win. Because they don't win enough games. They struggle to have consistency. They've been so bad compared to last year. So for those reasons, they're going to get D tier.